Hi, welcome back to my channel. My name is Veronica. Today, I would like to share with you my 5 most random skills that help me through life big time. Not only save me money, but also time. My skill number 1 is traveling and being organized. But most people don't start traveling right out of the blue, because there are all kinds of things that people are afraid of. People don't just want to go anywhere, or they don't want to travel to a new country. Others just don't know how, or they never done it before. So for them, it's a big obstacle. So in my life, what helped me the most to build that confidence to travel and that self-esteem, that lack of fear to travel, was my father. He was a big influencer in my life for traveling. When he had business trips, he would take me with him. We would take a bus or train or plane. My father was also in the military, so we lived in a foreign country for a couple of years as well. At that time, I was still fairly young. I was just turning to be 10, 12 years old. So I really just followed his lead. But through those travels, through meeting new people, having the new adventures somewhere else, helped me build my personality, helped me socialize with people without understanding them or without learning a new language. When I could talk to somebody, it was mostly with gestures, with your hands, with your smile, maybe showing that you wanted to eat something or you wanted to drink something or you were tired. So it's just a lot of different gestures that you were using in order to communicate with people. That kind of skill of communication and confidence that it's okay that you don't know the foreign language. It's okay to try a different country if you have that opportunity to go someplace else. You should always take that opportunity and always go. Do not make the fear stop you from going to the country of your dream or making that special trip with someone. One more thing that was extremely helpful during this travel is to learn from me how to pack my bags, how to be organized, how to be on time. As I mentioned, my father was a military man, so everything was very timed. I only had 5 minutes to get dressed. I had 5 minutes to brush my teeth and brush my hair. And to this day, I'm still very organized that way. I can literally get up, get ready to go within minutes. You need to be punctual because otherwise you're gonna probably miss your bus or your plane. So you always need to get up early, get dressed fast, get ready fast. Just show up early, be there on time, and that always helps you to be ahead. Skill number 2, and that is the foreign language. Some of you might never learn a foreign language in school, but where I grew up, English language was one of those mandatory subjects. To be honest with you, I hated English. I hated my teachers, I hated the whole process, I hated learning. And honestly, for many years, English was one of those subjects I always hated. I really didn't even know why I needed it. As a child, I was just bored, I was irritated, I always had bad grades in English. And look at me now, I speak English. And it was a lot of hard work. Learning a new language is a skill, and unfortunately, learning a new language is not like riding a bike. That skill goes away, bye-bye, if you don't practice it. So in order to maintain a language, you have to practice, you have to be surrounding yourself with that language. In college, I had German as a secondary foreign language. I studied 6 years of German, and I truly hated it. I was never really all that good at it, but I could read, I could understand, I knew some words, and I know how the words are formed, and those are like really bulky words because they combine like 2, 3, 4 words together, and you look at it and you're like, what the hell is this? Because it's like word this long. So you have to like start reading it from the back. The back of the word is the main word, and then you have to kind of combine it with other words in that word because they kind of glue them together. So that language was so complicated. And I also studied Latin, so English compared to those 2 things I studied in my own native tongue that was Russian and Belarusian in my country, English was just a breeze. So my point is, that skill that you learn at school, it's a great skill to have. Yes, you might lose it over time if you never practice it, but at some point you might just find it. I think that will give you the benefit of understanding other people, of getting a job that is multilingual, maybe meeting your spouse who is from a foreign country and speaks that language. And then you will have a whole bunch of practice to talk to them in that language. So the skill number 3 is painting. I know it's a very random skill, but when I was really young, We used to have a summer house. And back home, you might live in the city, you might have an apartment in the city, like 1 or 2 bedroom apartment, and you're kind of stuck in the city. You cannot really go anywhere. That's how you spend your vacations, how you spend your weekends. So a lot of people purchase summer houses. So in the summer, when the weather is nicer, people go out in the country, they grow different vegetables and fruits. You live at the summer house for a couple of days. So it's almost like your vacation home. My father used to have a garage there where he kept his car. And at times he would just ask me to help him paint the garage door or something else. He would give me this brush, he would give me this paint bucket, and he's like, just go for it. He didn't care if it was nice, if it was, painted all over the place. He just needed to paint it so it doesn't get rusty. The garage door was metal. And I would spend all day brushing it and learning. And he didn't care whether it was straight, whether it was well painted or not. He just said, hey, go paint. And I could spend all day painting. And being a girl in school, I did love painting in general, with watercolors, all those classes for painting and art. I love those. So to me, that was just another way, because I liked painting already. So to me, that monotonous painting job of painting the garage door was kind of fun. And I was happy to help my dad. So I'll tell you that to this day, I use that skill more times than I could have ever imagined when I was painting that garage door back home. So now, living in America, one time, many, many years ago, when I originally bought my first house and I was married, we bought a foreclosure house. So we had to do all the cosmetic repairs, the cleaning, the painting, and we pretty much painted the whole house, from the trim to the walls. American houses have dry walls that you need to paint, so there's really no wallpaper, no automatic finish. So we needed to paint that house. And oh boy, that was quite a chore. It was a lot of painting, and at that point I had to learn how to make it look nice. So that was not a garage door anymore. I had to learn how to paint. And to my surprise, I still enjoyed it. It was still a lot of work, but I enjoyed it. At the time, we didn't have any money. So for our family, that was a great savings, because painting that whole house of 4 levels, 4 floors with accent walls, to just making it white wall, whatever wall color you want, we probably saved maybe $10 or $20 or $30,000, because if you're hiring a painter, even for just one room, it's expensive. It's not cheap. And then you still have to buy materials and pick out your paints. If you live in your own house and you want to paint just one wall or maybe one room, it's a great skill to have, because then you can just do it yourself. Skill number 4 is doing my own nails. And that was one of those skills that my mom taught me when I was really young. Back in Belarus, we would not go to the salon to do our nails. That was not America. Growing up, I was a teenager. I wanted my nails to look nice. And it's not just manicures, ladies. It's also pedicures. And pedicures are tougher, because you really have to bend over and do your toenails. It's a little bit different process, and it's a little bit more labor intensive, but you can still get it done. You can not only get it done, but you can save so much money doing it. And nowadays, as me being in my 40s with kids and work and making these videos, I do not have the time to go to the salon, or sometimes I don't want to spend the $40 weekly, bi-weekly, or even once a month to go fix my nails so get it done. My hands are constantly in the water, believe it or not, but that's all I do, from cooking, cleaning, washing dishes, sometimes laundry, sometimes I do gardening too. My nail polish does not last on my nails. And I tried the gel nails before. I didn't quite like the whole process and the maintenance of it and the time that it takes to maintain them and make them look pretty. That process never really stuck with me. I went back to my old ways of doing my nails is by myself, the way I learned it from very early age. So the nails that you see today, the tap-on nails. I will leave a link in the description below to how I do these nails. I love them because they're great for a weekend. They're great for a short vacation. These nails last about 4 to 5 days. You just purchase the nails themselves, and they're already painted. You just purchase a special glue. You put them on with the glue. Within seconds, it dries off, and your nails are done. Usually it lasts me 4 days, 4 to 5 days before like the first nail would fall off. For the most part, within 5 days, 5 to 7 days, by 7th day, all of the nails will fall off. Like if one nail fell off, I can probably glue it back on and hold it for another 2 or 3 days. Then if more nails start falling off or they start peeling off, what I do, I just start peeling them off completely and take off the remaining residue glue off my nails with a special solution. And then you still look sexy and pretty, and you know, this was like 20 cents. These nails, girls, these nails, the set of nails costs only 20 cents because you purchase a packet of nails that is 100 nails in it. It is already pre-painted, they're already shaped, they're easy to trim if you wanted to make a different size or different shape. The glue is also costs cents. It's really inexpensive way to look pretty. And I love that. I love to be practical. Same with the toes. I do my toenails every 4 to 5 weeks. And the same process goes for my toenails. Of course, I'm not going to put the tap nails on my toes. So I have to manually trim them and make them look pretty, put the nail polish on it and the glaze, maybe some designs, whatever you like. And you know, I used to go to the salons to get my toes done because they give you a massage. You pick the color, you can relax. You know, you sit there for 3 or 4 hours. And honestly, I do not have 3 or 4 hours. I'll have to make an appointment probably a week in advance. Some nail salons, you can just walk in. But then you have to kind of schedule it during the day when you have time. But then if you have a job and during the day it doesn't really work, so you do it on the weekend. And on the weekend they get busy, so maybe you will walk in and you have to sit there and wait until the technician frees up, and then you sit there and maybe spend just an hour to do your pedicure. But after you done all of that and it dried and now you're driving back home, it's probably like 3 or 4 hours later, to be honest, right? It's never gonna be 1 hour for manicure and pedicure. It's always longer because you have to take time out of your day, you have to plan around it, and a lot of times it takes longer than you think it's gonna take. But that's the skill of doing your own nails that just not only saved me so many hours of my time, but saved me a lot of money because manicures can be $30. Pedicures can be $60, $70, $80 depending on whether you're going to get any kind of waxing or massaging or anything else. All right, we are close to skill number 5. And skill number 5 is sewing. So in our schools back home, besides the language and the art classes, we also had skill classes for girls or skill classes for boys. Boys were making something out of the wood, or maybe they were just learning some boy skills to build something similar to Boy Scouts programs here in the United States. The girls, on the other hand, at the regular elementary and middle school, we were learning different skills like cooking. The other one was sewing or knitting. It started, I would say, in the 4th grade, maybe 5th grade. And I really enjoyed those classes because you know how kids in school do not like their classes, or they only like to do something active like athletic, dancing or music classes. For me, those art classes and those sewing classes and the skill classes were absolutely awesome. You already know that I didn't like English classes, but sewing classes were awesome to me because my mom can sew, and from early age, she taught me how to sew myself. We always had a sewing machine at home, and from any basic things like fixing your shirt, fixing your pants, putting on buttons, or making some basic alterations, or fixing your clothes if you have a hole or anything like that, or your stitching came apart, we could fix it with a sewing machine. It only would take a couple of minutes. It was really a very short process. So as a little girl, I already knew how to sew. And at school, we were learning even how to sew our own clothes and certain things like skirts and maybe t-shirts or dresses. Those things do not require a lot of effort from sewing perspective. So they taught us how to sew. I knew how to sew from home, and I used to sew things for my dolls. I used to sew things for myself. As I grew up, I started sewing things for my house, from curtains to bed sheets to fixing clothes. I used to fix my clothes. Now I'm fixing my family clothes, like my kids' clothes. So my skill of sewing saved me so much, because if I was taking some pants that ripped to alterations. Not only it would take time and effort, but it would also cost you money. But if you have a sewing machine at home, and I'm going to put a list of different things that you can purchase on Amazon to help you with sewing, or if you wanted to acquire a sewing machine and you don't want to go to one of those craft stores that sell sewing machines, maybe you want to buy something with a discount online. So if you have a sewing machine at home, and it also goes for men too, because some guys can do that as well and they enjoy doing that. So if you bought some curtains that are too long, you want to trim them at the bottom, it's just a matter of like a few minutes doing it on the sewing machine yourself. Or maybe you purchased some beautiful fabric from some of your travels and now you want to make a tablecloth, or maybe you want to make bed sheets with it. Knowing the basics of sewing will help you get it done within maybe an hour or two if it's like a little project for you for the weekend. This will be so rewarding because you made it yourself and you customized it, so you made it perfect for your home. And if it's clothing, you made it perfect for your figure, for yourself. I knew some people and some friends of mine who had just like weird shapes, or they were not necessarily your basic or your standard shaped body. So what they used to do is when they buy jeans or t-shirts or clothes, they would go to alterations to make it adjust to their shape, to their figure. I mean, to me, this is a lot of work. I would rather buy something or try something on that already fits me rather than buying something and then take it to alterations. But if you have a problem, like some of those friends that I knew who are really non-standard, and maybe the top is too wide and or the bottom is too wide and the top is like tiny, so they have to go to do alterations all the time. And they used to go to change all of the new clothes that they bought. But then imagine if you're gaining weight, losing weight, and now none of these clothes fit. Now you have to go through that process all over again. And if you're like me and the most people, we go through our weight changes all the time. And with those clothes, you're not only wasting time and money, but it's just so much frustration. So wouldn't it be easier and better if you had something at home where you buy a dress or buy something that you love and you just bring it home, maybe adjust a little bit on the sides, maybe adjust the length depending on what you like the most, but you love the fabric, you love how it looks on you. You just need to make some minor alterations, and having that sewing machine at home is just time saving and money saving. It's awesome. So give you an example, just recently I purchased a couple of summer dresses from Amazon, and I loved the colors. I loved that it had pockets. I loved the length of it. But what I didn't like was it just looked kind of bulky on the front. And because those are clothes from Amazon, I couldn't really try them on, because usually I would buy something in the store, so I would kind of see how it sits on me. But you buy something from Amazon, you don't know what it's going to look like, especially on you. I mean, you know how it looks online, but you don't know how it looks on you. So you put it on, you make a couple of adjustments, and you're good to go. It looks perfect on you. Wouldn't you love to do that? So for me, sewing was not only my favorite random skill I wanted to share with you, but also I'm going to put together a course for you on my skills. This specific series of Girl Talk 101 is going to become Random Skills 101, where in each new episode I will teach you some of my random skills and how I do certain things, how I sew, how I paint, how I do my nails, maybe how I cook a specific dish that was traditional in my country, but I cannot buy it here, so I have to make it myself based on my own family recipes. So I'm going to teach you those skills, the skills that maybe you were not able to get when you were growing up, or the skills that you never learned, but it would be great to have. So in the next episodes, I will definitely share it with you. So stay tuned. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Like this video if it was useful to you. And I will see you soon. Have a great day.